Hey folks, Steve here with another PAX Romana Scenario 10 video. Bit embarrassing. I realize it's been a few weeks, a couple weeks since my last video, and well, it's the usual thing. Life just gets busy. And it's been a whirlwind couple of weeks for me. Very little time to spend here in the game room. I've done fun stuff. I played Wilderness War some more with my wife. I played some fun historical PC war games because it was just easier to play something on PC. Hanging out in the living room with family and stuff. So just less time to seclude myself here in the game room doing Hex Encounter or tabletop gaming. So there you go. But I'm back, and here we are, turn 5. Still a long way to go. We're going to try to work our way through all 10 turns. And we'll handle it how we can. I've already done all the basic introductory stuff. The factions have all paid out their stuff. We adjusted for maintenance. We did the corruption money loss. So everyone has the money they will have for the turn. The leaders have been drawn, all that good stuff. We're really ready to rock and roll. So a couple baseline things. Let's call out. Turn 5 covers 200 to 175 BC. Carthage is still doing pretty good in terms of existing. And as it stands right now, the East is still the winner, or winning, I should say, winning in terms of victory points, though they've been in kind of a rough state this last turn, and that may continue into this turn. Rome and Carthage are still slugging it out, trying to find ways to catch up to the East, and they are working on doing that. As it stands, the East player will have 4 talents for the turn, so just barely enough to pay for their activations and 1 more talent for something else. The Romans have 6 talents, so they can maybe do some city building, or town building rather, as the case may be. Carthage has 5, so kind of enough to pay for their activations and maybe repair some towns or cities that they take from the Romans. Now, in terms of production, the Carthaginians built quite a decent number of units, all intended to be a potent force. They actually built some heavy infantry here with the idea that they are going to try to improve that town into a city at some point in the turn. If the chits come out the right way. And it's basically just going to come down to, do they have enough wherewithal to sacrifice an activation to build their city. So it's kind of a weird circumstance. Or they can choose not to leave that heavy infantry there and get it next turn, but we'll see how it goes. The Romans obviously built up a lot of legion units that they've got situated. Their leaders are a 1-4 here, a 2-4 here. This guy's meant to kind of hook up with these guys, or they're going to start to move in an Arbanensis and sort of take control that way. Really, the Carthaginians, they have a 1-3 leader up here, so not terribly strong. A 2-6 here, which is pretty good. The Eastern player has a 2-4 leader with this big stack in Cilicia and a 1-5 in the capital. The Eastern player had to build some units here to sort of defend against Egypt and do their best to prep for some gnarliness to come up that way. So it's going to be tricky stuff, I think, is how this is going to end up rolling for everybody. So with that, I believe we can get started. Now, there was something special that occurred. So during the income phase, when we were rolling for money for the East, we triggered Successor Wars Roll On, which I'm using as a mnemonic here, that there is an Egypt activation. It's not like a full activation marker activation, but basically the Roman player will get to use an Egyptian stack for a move before their own activation shit. So this would be the very first thing that we do at the beginning of this turn is the Romans activate Egypt, they go do stuff, that settles out, and then Rome goes. So obviously they're hoping that the East can roll into here, kind of beat back the East player a little bit, put some pressure on, and if they roll high enough for activation, get to Jerusalem and cause some havoc. So that would be kind of an ideal um, for that. I don't think there's anything else I want to cover here. Everyone's got one card. Carthaginians have an ambush, which won't be too significant for them. East is still waiting to use their Conqueror card, and their own player still has now drawn another Cunctator card, so they're going to have that to use at some point if it's valuable. So I think that's it for the intro. We'll just get right into things. I'll try to move through the video more quickly now. I realize that the longer the series goes on, the fewer that people ultimately watch. Like I know some people stick around for the whole thing. But for me, it takes more time to record this and talk than to just play the game. So I'm going to try to speed things up and get through these next, 6 turns more quickly than the first 4 if I can. Just so we can get through the game, I can give my thoughts, maybe do a review, and I've got plenty of other games that I want to get to the table after this. So we'll look at it. So I'm going to take care of the Egyptian activation. It's probably going to be this stack because it's closest, and they're going to try to get up in here and attack. I think that's what we're going to end up doing. I'll double check the rolls before I do, but we'll show the aftermath of that, and then we'll start looking at the actual first Roman activation. Okay, well, this would have been a lot more interesting, I guess, if the Egyptians had a leader, which they don't, which is just one of those weird things in the rules where they'll just never get a leader ever again, as far as I can tell. I didn't roll high enough to actually do anything of value over here. So that's it for the Egyptians. Not a big deal. Kind of a waste of time. So the Romans are going to pay their first talent to get to go. They're going to pull their event card. They get a conspiracy. Designate any one non-elite on-map leader belonging to another player. Move that leader from the map and reduce the player's stability by 1. Oh, well, yeah, they're going to play this. And they're definitely going to play it on the Carthaginian leader here. Boom. No Carthaginian leader. No good one. The one that they have is honestly, pretty crappy up in Corsica. So this actually might be a really interesting opportunity for the Romans to really hurt the Carthaginians because they're lacking a leader to be able to move very far, and this could be a big collapse opportunity. So I'm going to think through what I want to have happen here. So the Romans will come back in the aftermath, but boy, the Carthaginians are angry that the Romans got to play the conspiracy card, and the Romans lost their good leader. That's tough. That's tough stuff. And I'll adjust their stability here in a moment. Okay, a bit anticlimactic. We didn't get a nice big fight out of the whole deal. But the Romans used their minor moves to expand control in Narbonensis with a legion here, some garrisons here. That by my count, 3 spaces to 2 means that the Romans take control of Narbonensis. This is important because it's worth 2 talents for income, so it's a really nice gain, and also starts to open up a path to head into Hispania, really, if we wanted to, and that's always an option. Keep in mind that when we do naval movement, the Romans, for instance, control up to here, but need units everywhere else. So now, in a naval move, a Roman army could go very quickly, zip, 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 to here before they have to stop to roll to see if they can continue moving. So significant to make that sort of expansion of reach. So Rome may start to be able to get some momentum underneath it. I activated the leader that was in Rome itself, had him move, take the ships out. There was a naval battle. The Carthaginians actually lost, though it was really tight, forcing a retreat of the galley, and then these guys retreated back a space. But this guy didn't roll high enough movement for us to go much further, so we deprived the Carthaginians control of Corsica. And now the Romans have gained, well, they didn't gain control of Corsica, but they did gain Narbonensis. So pretty good setup there for the Romans. They're pretty happy with the overall situation. Um, the Carthaginians are still very frustrated by what has gone on otherwise. So next we're going to have the Carthaginians go. They're going to pay their talent. They're going to draw their card, and they get bountiest harvest. So we're just going to roll on the table to see what's that all about. Roll a two, which I need to find Greece, which doesn't matter. So this card not terribly useful. And now the Carthaginians need to decide what do they want to do to uh, what could they or should they want to do with their move? They could try to strike back. Or the problem is these leaders. So at most, if we rolled a die to activate and they only rolled less than a 3, then this stack isn't going anywhere anyway. Not much good that they can do. They could try to activate this army to try to pull them back to Sardinia, where they would at least have some level of control, but they would basically be ceding Corsica to the Romans, and the Romans would truly love that. So the Romans are going to have to think through this. We'll show the aftermath when I come back. Well, the Carthaginians are in some deep trouble. I decided to risk it and said, well, if I can roll a 3 or more, I can navally move these guys as a stack to here and have a great big stack to oppose the Romans, or at least take some of this stack so that we don't leave it completely open to invasion from Lilybaeum. And we rolled a 2, which means they can't even naval move. You need at least 3 movement points to navally move. And so Carthage really doesn't have any other moves that it can make, even with minor moves. There's just if we weaken the galleys here, that opens up the ability for the Romans to come in directly to Carthage too easily. It's almost like the Carthaginians have a wasted activation. They just don't have enough. This is kind of the problem with the movement system and where you're rolling to get movement points. If you roll poorly, you almost can't do anything at all. It's one aspect of this game that I don't like very much. I'm not sure there's much that can be done to get around it. Next up is the Eastern activation. They pay their activation. They pull card. They get Galley Tech, the Corvus. For the remainder of the game turn, your galley squadrons are each worth 3 BP in any naval battles. Well, I'm not sure the East is really going to be getting into very many naval battles, so they'll hold on to the card for now. They don't have to use it now, and to be honest, I'm not sure when they will use it, because if they're going to hold on to a card between turns, it's going to be the Conqueror card. The East, at this point, probably wants to try to consolidate control of Asia Minor again, and so wants to be probably attacking this army with their pretty good leader. So I think this activation makes sense as to what they want to achieve. We'll probably do the major move first just to see where things end up, to use the minor moves to adjust based on that. So we'll see what the East player can do here. Okay, well, in a series of engagements, the Seleucid army beat back the Greek army back to Lycia, where they eventually eliminated, well, they didn't eliminate the entire force. Some of it did retreat back to Sardis, but they managed to basically reestablish control over Cilicia, Lycia, and then with some minor moves, they repositioned a galley here to help kind of guard the entrance to the Eastern Kingdom here. And then we moved one from Pontus to here because we weren't going to get Pontus back immediately because there's just a lot of stuff here, but they could move into Galatia to take control of that. So really, the East picked up control of a number of Asia Minor territories to sort of re-establish their strength. They did lose a lot of units, sort of chipping away at that Greek army, so they're kind of in a weakened position. So we'll see how that pans out here shortly. So that's it for the East, and now we start pulling from the cup, and we'll see what we get. We pull Roman shit, which I think the Romans are perfectly happy with. They will pay a talent, and they will draw their card. Revenues and stability. Let's see, if you have less than 3 talents, that is not the case, so they avoid that stability drop. We don't have more than 12, so we're not going to add, so just a sort of a null thing. And now the Romans will go, and I think the Romans are thinking they want to take control of Corsica and ultimately the rest of the pertinent territory. So yeah, I think they're gonna look to try to do that for sure. Yeah, all right. We'll see what the aftermath looks like of that. We're probably going to try to come down through here, honestly. That's probably the best move. Okay, well, here we are after the Roman activation. The Carthaginians managed to withdraw away, but what the end state is, importantly, is that the Romans have control of Corsica, now Sardinia, because they have a garrison here and they have their main army here, which means they control 2 of the 3 spaces of Sardinia. They control all of Sicily and Melita, which means they technically control the territory of the Sicilies. So quite a great advancement for the Romans. They're feeling very good about that. They're on the top of their game. Carthage feeling the sweat coming a little bit, because they simply do not have the strength in Sardinia to contest this, and they really don't have the leadership to move the big Carthaginian army very far to face the Romans. The best they could probably do is attempt to take Melita, but even then, it's kind of a tough role to make ultimately. So Romans feeling really good with that, and in fact, I need to double check here. That's 3, 4. Let's see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 provinces controlled, if I'm counting right, which puts them in front of everybody. And then with their CVP points being really close to being ahead of everybody, it's very significant game position for them to be in right now. Feeling very good. Rome all of a sudden is coming out ahead, so that's great for them. I'm going to pull the next chip in the cup, and we get a Pontic activation, Pontus. So, let's see, I wonder, 4, 5. Yeah, they're going to try to do something. Let's see how many movement points they get. They get 5. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That actually is not enough to do anything. So I think what they'll aim to do is simply 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's just a simple move to where Pontus isn't controlled by anybody because of this Greek unit, and now Cappadocia is no longer controlled by the East. So that's a little bit of a play. They didn't have enough movement points to initiate a combat over here. They would have needed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and because these mountain forces or mountain fortress spaces, whatever, are worth 2 to move into, I believe. So they just didn't have enough movement points. They needed 6 to get to that city, but that's still a threat, pressure on the Eastern player, and that's really the principal important thing that they're trying to achieve here. Going back to the cup, we pull East. So Eastern player has an opportunity to try to do something about that. They're going to pay their talent, they're going to draw their card, and they draw a barbarian invasion. So we'll roll the 2 dice. That is a 7, which I am not immediately sure where that is going to end up. Barbarian invasion is Western Gauls. Uh-oh. All right, I'm going to go read up on a Western Gaul. Western Gaul, who's invading? Invasion table. I don't think we have anything that is immediately different in this scenario about invasions. Yeah, I don't think there's anything different there, so we're going to go find out what a Western Gaul invasion looks like for rolling a 7. Well, it's funny how fate turns out. So the barbarian invasion of the Western Gauls brings a army of 6 strength barbarian infantry and a leader into some place in Gaul, and they can coexist with the tribes according to, I think, the special rules for this scenario. So placed here by the Eastern player, obviously there's now this big, nasty threat to Narbonensis. It is a decently strong army. The Romans could contest it, but it's going to be really nasty, the potential to get down here. But the problem is, based on the way I'm reading the rules, he doesn't get a free activation. The Western Gauls don't get a free activation. The Eastern player has to use his activation, his major move activation, to move that stack, and he's not sure that he wants to do that because he's got a lot of other things he needs to try to do right now. So this is pretty tough. Now I'm sure the Carthaginian player would be saying, "Yeah, hit Rome. Rome's going to take the lead now. Rome's going to start winning." And the Eastern player has to decide what they want to do. So I think I'm split decision. If I roll an odd number on the die, we'll activate the barbarian infantry. If I roll an even, we'll activate Eastern armies to try to clean up Asia Minor. All right, so we're going to activate the barbarians. We'll roll for activation. They have 9 movement points, which is quite a bit. And I think it's going to be 1, 2, remove this garrison. 3, 4, 5, remove this garrison. That removes control of Narbonensis. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So we're down to 4 movement points. 1, 2, 3. And basically, move 1 more there, which is going to isolate this legion. Now what's going to happen is this guy's going to get removed at the beginning of next turn, but I think the isolation phase happens first. So that barbarian army was not going to destroy the whole Roman world ultimately, and in fact, I don't even think it takes control of Cisalpina. If I look at the control rules here, must control more than half the spaces. Yeah, which this barbarian army is not going to do. I don't think, or I don't think really. Well, I guess maybe if they dropped off a bunch of units, could they do that? Would that work? I don't think they have the movement points for it. So never. I don't think it matters. It won't matter. So the Romans won't lose Cisalpina, but this barbarian army has effectively nullified the Narbonensis colony, which sets the Romans back a little bit. They had spent a lot of minor moves sort of setting that up. But they'll take the Sicilies. I mean, that's a consolation prize. And then for the minor moves, I mean, it's really tough to say what can be done here. I think, well, yeah, this is a tough thing. Okay, do some minor moves with the East. 5. Put one of these guys here for the time being. And then that's really it. We'll just leave it like that. Eastern player did what they could. We'll go to the cup. Carthage is waiting to get their next activation. And they get it. So there you go. Carthage activation. I'll have 1 more after this. They pay their talent. They draw their card. And it is pirates. So we have to place a pirate fleet. And I have to look up where this could go again. Okay, so they placed the pirates right here with the intention being that this is going to put this guy out of a line of communication and cause problems for the Romans. They'll at least need to try to knock these guys out in order to restore that line of communication. So then otherwise, the Carthaginians are going to try to go. They have limited options, that is for sure, but they'll try to do something with this army again, I think. In another bout of frustration, I rolled a 1 to activate this stack, and they're not getting anywhere, really. There's nowhere to go. Minor moves, there's really not much for them to do either. This is really a bust turn for the Carthaginians. They don't have much that they can do. The only other option, I think, at this point, they could sacrifice. I guess this is what we'll do. We're going to sacrifice the rest of our money so that we won't get another activation to turn this into a city. Now, it's an undefended city, which is dangerous, but the Romans only have one more activation, and they're going to probably want to consolidate control of Sardinia more than anything. So this is going to help the civ points of Carthage a little bit here, and they don't mind the income boost as well, so that's what they can do. They still got a lot of cups, or chits in the cup. We get the final Roman activation, so they spend talent. And they draw the alliance card, which I believe is a Roman invasion. Yes, we have another light invasion, which is going to be bad news for the Eastern player. So let me take care of this off camera as well, and we'll see where we end up here with this activation for a Greek army. It's going to be another one of those led by a 2/6 with a whole bunch of units. So the Eastern player is about to get yet another hammer coming, which is not good for them. I'll be right back. Okay, so big old Greek independent army came swooshing into Galatia and pushed the East back. They sort of ran out of movement points at that point. Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So he still has 3 movement points left. I guess he would move back like that. And I think these guys are fine to stay right there. Well, I got... Okay. These guys can move back. Another one to here. And that removes control of that space from the east. So yeah, boy, that's pretty significant. If I double check, 1, 2, 3, 4, 7, 8. Yeah, they're good there. Yeah, and now the Romans will actually go. So I just want to make sure you saw they showed up here in Greece. They came across, smash, 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 smash. So Pontus is under some level of Greek control. Cappadocia is split. Galatia is empty. Lycia is technically controlled by the east, but they're kind of far from home. And then this big Roman army has the capital of the east under threat at the moment. So this has turned out to be interesting, where the east was running away with it a little bit, but now they're getting kicked pretty darn hard, actually, and they're struggling to keep up. So that's kind of interesting. So for the Roman activation, we'll see. Probably want to activate this main army over here. They have 6 movement points. Let's see what we do with that. Okay, so here we are at the Roman activation. They did move to attack here. Um, the Carthaginians retreated. The Romans decided to stop there and then used minor moves to reposition some galleys. One galley came and successfully cleared the pirate fleet and is helping hold Melita. So I would say this is a very interesting position for the Romans to be in, where like they have basically won the Punic Wars such that they have some naval blocking here, naval blocking here, naval blocking here. They have a holding force at Melita, which isn't worth much by itself, but importantly, they have what do you call it? They have armies well positioned here that maybe in any given direction the Carthaginians could go, but if they go, then the Romans have a capability of getting into going directly into Africa, Carthage itself. If the Carthaginians split, the Romans very likely have a positional advantage that way. So as it stands right now, the Carthaginians are feeling very bad about the situation. And while it's probably great to beat up on the Eastern player, they just don't have a lot of options. Now, the Romans decided to do this. They gave up an opportunity to turn Lilybaeum into a city, but that is something they'll probably look to do next turn because they have the money to do it. They just decided it was more important to put fleet defense up front so that we could hem the Carthaginians in a little bit. Okay, so we're going to pull the next chit. We get a Carthage chit that can't be paid for, so they lose it. And then we pull the next chit, which is the Greek activation chit. So now this is Greek activations. The Carthaginian player figures, what the heck, might as well hurt who they can hurt. That's really the main thing. It's like, what can you do? So they're going to roll. They get 7 movement points with the Greek army, and we'll see what happens. Well, I think we can call this a catastrophic result for the Eastern player. The Greek player came in and fought their way through, and through a number of difficult battles against a mountain fortress city, took the city and destroyed it. So this is a very bad for the East. They have just been hobbled, incredibly weakened, and are in a very bad game state. So much so that they're like, this actually maybe is a mistake on the Carthaginian players' perspective now that I'm thinking about it, because like, well, they might now create a circumstance where Rome's going to run away with the game on the other side, but I think the key thing is going to be it puts Carthage in second place solidly, so it means that the Eastern player is going to lag behind. The game will really be between Carthage and Rome, and Carthage may still have some ways to turn things around. We'll see, but a tough call. So the final chit in the cup is an Eastern player activation. What can be done? They spend their talent, they pull their card, change in foreign policy, use this against yourself or one other player. They randomly selects one opportunity objective to return to the pool after blindly selecting a new one. They might actually play this on themselves because they don't like the objective that they got. It's not very good, so they will pick a new one, and I pulled H. I will need to see what the H objective actually is. Let's see if it's any good. Control the Danube. Well, that's unlikely to happen, so the East player's not feeling good about that. What can the East player do? Well, not much, as it happens. They need to figure out how to save themselves. Oh, and come to think of it, these guys won't be isolated because they have a path that way. Okay. Well, they don't like this guy fighting in their backyard, so they're going to try to disrupt that with 5 movement points. 1, 2, 3, 4 won't be enough to get everywhere. That's going to be a problem. I can try. These guys withdraw, and with the army, and really, this guy is out of gas here. There's really not much that the Eastern player can do. Otherwise, I guess what they should have done is leave somebody behind to retain control, and that's as far as they can get. So not great. They still don't control Cilicia. They could have left somebody behind. Well, this is what they could probably do. With a minor move, they can. That's not going to do it. Yeah, boy, shucks. They're just not getting anywhere. They can't do anything more than what they've done already. So that's it for the Eastern player, and that's it for the turn. So let me go do some logistic stuff, and then we'll do the victory point count up, and that'll be the end of the video. Okay, so as it stands, I forgot to do some stability levels updates, but suffice to say, Carthage is going down, the East is going down, Rome is standing strong. So very quickly, mid-game, we're reaching a point where Rome is suddenly, while they started way behind, are starting to fling forward quite a bit. So we're going to do the victory point check. Geographic objective points, the East stands at a measly 4, because they control 4 provinces. Carthage has 5 GOP, that is their home provinces, and then Baetica off in Hispania, and then Rome rushes out with a total of 9 GOP points. 9 GOP points. From their 3 that they control, 5 more provinces plus a bonus for a territory, a non-home territory controlled. So 9 GOP points, which means that they will get 7 victory points. Romans will get 7. So they go from 25 right now to 32. Second most GOP is Carthage. So they get 4 victory points. So they go from 27 to 31. And then the Eastern player gets 2, going up to 36 for being in 3rd place. Technically also lowest. This is one of those cases like it should. Again, I've been playing this, so everyone benefits that the 3rd and the last player are the same, so that you don't just get 0. But I don't know if that's really the way it should be played with 3 players. But again, this is a special C3I scenario, and maybe it didn't get polished all the way. Now we're going to look at civ points. So that is definitely a Roman advantage here. So Rome has 13 civ points from their 4 cities in the town, and then each of Carthage and the East still have 3 cities in the town. So they have 10. Rome has 13. And so the first player in first place gets 5 victory points. So that's Rome going up to 37. And then second most, which would be, so we have to split the difference. So Carthage and the East will each get 2 points, basically. So 1, 2, 1, 2. So where that stands right now is the East loses another stability for getting the fewest victory points this turn. Oddly enough, they're still in the lead by a single victory point. Just the way it works out. If I weren't giving the person who comes in last in those categories any victory points, then things would probably be a bit different, but it has benefited Rome, it's going to benefit the East, it's benefited Carthage, everyone's benefiting, so it's all fair to me, I guess. So the victory points tally come in with the Seleucids, the East, at 38 victory points, Rome at 37 victory points, and Carthage at 33 victory points. So it's not a huge gap by any margin now. Like Carthage is in last place, but that could quickly change, or that could swiftly change, depending on how things go. And oh gosh, I think I forgot to do isolation, so that's my bad. 9 dot something or other. Yeesh. Okay, let's see. Roll 1 die for each isolated space. Oh, okay, it'll at least remove 1 unit. And I don't think, because this is blocked by the barbarian army and then the tribes, this unit is actually just straight up gone. So I should have taken care of that. Not a big deal. Everyone else is actually fine for attrition purposes, even over here with some of the weird stuff with the East. So there we go. That's the end of turn 5, guys. So it started kind of kooky. We were wondering if the East was going to run away with the game. Clearly, that is not what is happening right now. Rome has managed to sort of come out ahead in the Punic War, Punic Wars. I guess we could be looking at it now. Carthage is still alive, and they still have some territory in Hispania. Rome got kicked out of Narbonensis by a Gallic invasion. But Rome's feeling pretty good, and if they can maintain their momentum, they're very likely going to continue to enjoy tremendous advantages through the rest of the game because they have great advantages with their army units, their legions. They have a lot of territory. They're going to get a lot of money, and they even got to save some money this turn. So expect to see the Roman player beef up its army, beef up its navy, start building more towns and cities, and we could see Rome snowball, and that could be a cause for the Carthaginian player to say, maybe I need to point the Greeks back west now. That's probably what they're going to have to do at this point. The East has been beat up a lot. The East is still competitive, probably, but I don't know. Tough decision, guys. We'll find out next time for turn 6, but this was turn 5. Thanks for watching. Take care, guys. Keep gaming. Hope to see you soon again.